Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is another Hollywood celebrities dropping like flies.
They're dropping like flies.
Listen, people are dropping like flies out there.
I am
Boop.
pissed off.
We're dropping like flies around here.
We're dropping like flies here.
Jeez, sir, 2 more just went down. Dropping like flies.
Too many people around here been dropping like flies already, and where's that getting us, huh? Nowhere. Fast.
Biden's being Biden's being extremist.
Crush that fly.
In the title of this video, people have asked me this question, even my wife. The CDLF stands for Celebrities Dropping Like Flies. So I write out Hollywood because, you know, that's a good word to use for whatever, right, in terms of viewership. And I don't have space in the title. It's kind of sucky to write out the celebrities dropping like flies every time. So if people ask that question, you can tell them what it means. I had a rough night last night, and it's over with now. I had a little bit stomach thing going on, and I'll talk about that. I've already talked about my journey series for the 114th edition, which I ended today. And I'll probably get that up tomorrow for members, and then this weekend for everybody else. I was going to cover some of the Trump stuff with the BS indictment stuff. But I'll cover that tomorrow with the Hunter Biden things, because I just don't have, it's already 4 o'clock here, so I just got to get this video up quick. I was going to not make a video at all today, but there's a lot of pertinent stuff here today and some follow-up things. And then I got a big video to make tomorrow on my other channel, my Pockets of the Future channel, the regular channel, or the original channel. But let's start here with Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx says he would not be here without his courageous sister, Deidre, would have lost my life. And so this is the whatever here. Happy birthday to my beautiful four sister, frequency 11D. You are magical, you are beautiful, you are courageous, lioness, Leo season, hashtag. And without you, I would not be here. Had you not made the decisions that you made, I would have lost my life. I love you forever and ever. Happy birthday. So he would have died had it not been for some critical decisions that were made by his sister. He's saying that he was, death was on the table whenever he went through whatever he went through, which is significant. And so then people are saying Celeine Dion was dead. And this happened before. And I'm going to remake the joke I made then. She died years ago because she's gone full ghoul, 8 years ago. And, she's no longer amongst the living. But something that did happen. So I was up till 4:30 last night. I had stomach issues. And I just had to get out of bed over and over again. And I was, I couldn't really fall asleep. Then we had a chiropractor appointment today to do with our, we still have some issues with after the accident. And so it was I got about 3 hours sleep. I took a nap and now I'm better. I did some outside work. I'm building this fountain and I'm going to try to make a video. I want to make a video on it. I've got all this footage. Like a water garden and a waterfall. But anyways, Giselle and I are heartbroken over the passing of my friend Sheila Oliver, New Jersey's lieutenant governor. And so when I was hearing about Celeine Dion in the middle of the night, I also, this popped up. I don't think I'm following Fetterman, but Twitter recognizes that I've looked at his page enough. So they sent me his stuff. Sheila was a passionate public servant who dedicated her life to the people of New Jersey. She will be more than missed. Our deepest condolences to Sheila's family. And this is what it said last night. This was New Jersey Governor Sheila Oliver dies unexpectedly after undisclosed medical illness. She was 71, so she wasn't a young person. But she went to the hospital with an undisclosed medical illness, and then she died suddenly. That's what all the headlines said last night. Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver, remembered as a mentor and truth teller, and then all this stuff. Okay, so I'm in the editing portion of this video, and I want to make this clear. The headlines last night were all like she died suddenly and unexpectedly. I mean, all like there was one after the other. And then the headlines this morning have changed to what a great person she was and these things, right? And I don't know if they're aware of the whole died suddenly, but it's happening much more frequently now. There's been a huge uptick, and there's a lot more to come here in this video. Rams running back Sony Michel, two-time Super Bowl champion, is retiring. It didn't say why, but there might be a medical condition involved here. So this is a tweet, and I couldn't find any factual verification of this. I didn't have time to look at the study, but they're saying that additional 4.2 million disabled Americans than 2.5 years ago. That there are more and more Americans that are now claiming to be disabled. Of course, these young people are growing up seeing athletes and other people say they have, this medical condition or that, mental health condition and not show up for work, depression and things like that. And, these are kids who are being prepared for Agenda 21, Agenda 31, Agenda 35, whatever it might be, housing and things like that. Because they can't work. They can't hold like jobs that most teenagers and young people have to have, like, waiting tables and working in retail and things like this, job fast food. And so young people just can't sustain those jobs because of the, they're growing up and being fed by the internet, not having the stimulation that they have, on the internet, and they can't do things in real life, and they have trouble sustaining physical efforts and completing tasks. And so a lot of these kids are just going on disability, I would assume, because you see businesses all the time saying they can't find, like kids that age, they can't find employees, and it usually be filled by kids that age, right? They're weaker and lower functioning, and so they'll just take the Agenda 21, 31, a meal ticket and get some sort of sustained state support, money from the state, just participating in the bare minimum, having a bare minimum amount of income, not owning anything, renting everything and liking it. Mark Jackson out at ESPN as network aims to make Doris Burke and Doc Rivers lead analysts, source says. Now, Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy and Mike Breen were the best at announcing sports as far as I'm concerned. And most people would at least agree to some extent. Jeff Van Gundy was funny and he was kind of a truther. Mark Jackson was his former player, has a very heavy New York accent. Both of them had a lot of basketball knowledge. Both of them were NBA coaches. Mark Jackson was also an all-star basketball player. Mike Breen's won all kinds of Emmys, and he's considered the premier announcer. He's got a great voice and great, way of calling a basketball game. It's one of the few announcing teams that I recognize as improving what I'm watching in terms of basketball game. And so they fired Jeff Van Gundy for, I think the NBA was pissed at him criticizing things that they ended up changing anyway because he was right. He's kind of like an NBA kind of truther, kind of, someone with that personality configuration. But Doris Burke was a sideline reporter, a former basketball player who seems like a nice lady. She got, she did a sideline interview with Greg Popovich. Popovich, who's a grumpy kind of old coach, and he kind of embarrassed her. I didn't see that, but they talk about it all the time. And she was considered someone who knew a lot about basketball. So Jeff Van Gundy pushed the network to make her into an analyst. This is before, the Me Too stuff and all the stuff that happened at ESPN with that, controversy. And, they're pushing more and more women on in this arena, in this, as analysts and sports reporters. And some of it's contrived. I don't care about it, but it just seems like it's awkward in many cases. And, they're just forcing something on a mostly male audience because of just feminism, right? But Doris Burke sucks as an announcer. She's just not good. Yeah, she seems like a nice person, but she tries to nail those sort of, I don't know if you call them like taglines or things that sports announcers say about, where there's a vicious dunk or there's a big play or, and she's just, she'll make some sort of reference. You see announcers trying to, sensationalize with the plays, and she just sucks at it. She's not really good at, she's not nearly as entertaining. And Doc Rivers has a horrible voice. He has like an RFK Jr. voice. It's almost always hoarse. It's hard to listen to. And he's not a very likable or fun person. I don't think he is. I've never heard the guy tell a joke. He's always seems serious, kind of grouchy. And so, they're going to suck. It's a huge drop-off. And, ESPN Disney is, it's all going to crap. Like, this was their top team. I would have never thought they would have broken up that team, but they did. And, now they have a much worse team. And nobody's going to say anything in the sports world about Doris Burke because she's, part of their club. And, they're pushing for women to be, but she's just not good. She sucks as an announcer. Like, it's uncomfortably bad. It's like a grandmother. It's like your grandmother announcing a basketball game. A member of Young Thug's YSL crew was arrested during a goat sacrificing ritual, and their attorney wants that info removed from the trial. So apparently Young Thug and his buddies were sacrificing a goat. So this is a follow-up. There's a woman here. This woman here is going to come around, and he's definitely struggling already.
And a string of...
and she taps him on the hand.
And a string of...
and people are wondering, if this had something to do with his meltdown. She's going to tap him right here. And then... this happened. Turtle, 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 turtle. Turtle, 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 turtle. Turtle, 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 hey turtle, turtle, oh turtle, oh turtle, 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 oh turtle, turtle. And so, maybe I don't know. Maybe she did something. Maybe she's his handler. Maybe she's not. But one of my viewers sent me this. A few of them sent me this, as a follow-up to his glitching out. Broncos waive KG Hammer with NFL designation after wide receiver diagnosed with pericarditis. Pericarditis. I'll never get it. And so he posted that he felt chest pains while working out prior to the start of training camp. Is currently undergoing treatment for pericarditis, a mild heart irritation. So his career has ended. Whitney Port, I'm not sure who this is, admits she does not look healthy. Stepped onto scale was an eye-opener. And so she was on the hills. She's 38 years old, and she complained of lack of energy, and it's because she's now a ghoul. Like, look at what's happened here. Yikes. That's, you don't have any energy because you died. Like, you're a walking corpse. She's got some flippers there going. Anyways, exclusive Daily Mail. China is in our house, warns top Republican after bust of an illegal Chinese-run lab in California revealed dangerous virus and mice experimentation. That's happening. Putin claims New World Order upon us in rambling Ukraine rant. So that happened. But then this happened today. Putin dismisses sanctions, says Western order collapsing in speech, attacking U.S. Here's the speech here.
Изъян заложен в самой идее сохраняющейся обстановки.
The United States, having declared victory in the Cold War, and he gives a shrug, declared itself the messenger of God on earth, who has no responsibilities but only interests, and those interests are declared sacred. They do not seem to notice that over the past decades, new powerful centers have formed on the planet and are declaring themselves louder and louder. Each of them develops its own political systems and public institutions, implements its own models of economic growth, and of course has the right to protect them to ensure national sovereignty. The ruling elites of some Western countries have these kind of illusions. They don't want to see the obvious thing, but persistently cling to the shadows of the past. For example, they think the dominance of the West in the political and the economy is unchanging. In politics and in the economy as an unchanging quantity of eternal one, but there is nothing eternal. They didn't show that part of the speech, but during the speech he said the Western world order, the New World Order, or something like that, or a combination of those things is collapsed. And so, they're saying he's rambling, and other articles and other headlines, but the Ukraine war is an epic victory for him at this point, and a loss for Americans and the European Union and all that, NATO and all that stuff. Toddler dies after grandmother leaves her in a hot car for 8 hours. We don't need to talk about that. So look at this dude right here. He's got a trash can, and he's got some sort of a disguise here, and he's just loading up. And this guy's confronting him. They're wrestling. This guy's coming in with a bat. Okay, so I went back and watched the video with sound. And there's an African-American guy taping. I think he's working at the store. And he's saying to the other employees or owners of the store, who seem to be possibly Middle Eastern. And he's telling them, you can't do anything until the cops get here. You can't, physically restrain the guy. But the one guy comes in, sort of stops him physically, and the other guy has like a handle or a bat or something like that. It's not like a baseball bat, but it's strong enough that he hits the guy like 20 times with it. He just gives him a beat down. The guy announcing it says, that's called whipping your ass, right? Because I've been talking about bonus holes and how, the Seagulls and the Democratic Party and, the powers that be realize that everyone's bonus holes. We're a bunch of bonus holes and nobody does anything, and you can just take everybody's lunch money and bully them with, various types of, the criminals can bully people and say you're somehow oppressing me or whatever it is. But not in this case. This guy lays an absolute beatdown on this dude, but probably, might be charged with assault because that's what the powers that be, want. Then this happened. Wow, exactly. Dig it. Poop-looking ice cream, diarrhea-looking ice cream in a toilet.
Oh my god.
Smoke up, Johnny.
Oh my god.
They're eating out of a toilet bowl. So this is one of those cities. I showed you a video on it. They're just lined cities. It's like 6 or 7 stories tall, or maybe a lot bigger than that. I forget. Really high, and it's very thin, and it can fit like 20 million people or something crazy. They're already starting to break ground here, somewhere in the Saudi Arabia, and they can you can get from one side of the city to another using their whatever kind of transportation system in 20 minutes.
In civilization is taking place. Imagine a traditional city and consolidating its footprint, designing to protect and enhance nature. The line's communities are organized in 3 dimensions, within 5-minute walk neighborhoods.
Okay, the way that works is they build one of those cities, and the city does well, or at least it makes sense economically and environmentally. And everybody says it's a success, and then they get all these other places to construct similar cities. And it becomes something where they're doing it all over the place, right? They just have to build one, and then, the rest of the world will follow that model, especially since it's already part of an ongoing plan. Then one of my viewers sent me this. There is these lifeline, like human masks that they are, they just keep on getting better and better at these types of things, right? I mean, illusions and being able to trick people, deep fake stuff, special effects, all of it. Like one thing technology is better doing is faking reality and making you think something is different than it actually is. So congratulations. Vegan raw food diet influencer Xana DeHart dies of suspected starvation. Wow, she could barely do it, right? So apparently she didn't get enough calories or whatever. Angus Cloud, mourned by Zendaya, Sydney Sweeney, and fellow Euphoria castmates. Creator calls late actor special for all of us in so many ways. So I never really talked about this. He was 25. He died days after burying his father and following a struggle with his mental health issues. I don't know if he committed suicide. Angus Cloud cause of death remains unknown. Rumors and speculations have surfaced, but they lack substantiation. But again, there's just like they've turned up the dial, right? Or God has, or whatever it is. Like things are getting more and more intense. Things are just getting more and more intense, right? There's another turn of the dial, the volume button. Carmel Electra, former, Baywatch? She's having kind of a meltdown, not as bad as that other older actress. It doesn't look like she's doing well psychologically, just the way she's dressed and all the rest of it. She decided to go out and do this on the front porch, and someone was nice enough to videotape it. She's having some sort of crisis, but not as bad as we've seen in the past, but whatever. I've already invested in maybe she's taking a breath. Maybe she knows she's being watched. Maybe she wants to get her name in the headlines or something like that. There are the photos. It's not a big deal. Not really kind of a nothing burger. Cardi B encouraged fans to splash her bonus hole with water moments before a microphone throwing accident. So the conspiracy's afoot here. So now they're all pissed because they realize she was lip syncing. But earlier she asked them to throw water on her bonus hole because it was on fire. all the diseases started to work against her. Las Vegas police opened battery investigation after Cardi B threw microphone at concert goer. Goldman Sachs analyst John Kasich, 27, vanishes after concert at the Brooklyn Mirage and second mysterious disappearance in weeks. So there's bankers disappearing left and right. Everything's, this is the guy right here. He's looks like a total patsy. Miss America crown weighed heavily on the mental health of some of its winners. I just did not want to exist anymore. So, of course it did. It's a weird thing. Those beauty pageants are just weird. Daryl Hannah stunned by death of friend Paul Rubens. Pee Wee Herman, I guess, was good friends with this dude, Daryl Hannah. And they He lost a private 6-year cancer battle. Tori Kelly released from hospital after collapsing due to blood clots, report said. I'm feeling stronger now, and hopefully, but unfortunately, there are some things to uncover. Are there? Are there, Tori? Elizabeth Banks says the media gendered Charlie's Angels, and she had to ask for it to be promoted to men. Could we have an ad during a baseball or during baseball game? It says here, so much of the story that the media wanted to tell about Charlie's Angels was it was some sort of feminist manifesto. People keep saying you're the first female director of Charlie's Angels, and I was like, they've only done a TV show and MCG's movies. What are you talking about? That's not a long legacy. I just love the franchise. There was not this gender agenda from me. This was very much laid on top of the work, and it was a little bit of a bummer. It felt like pigeonholed me and the audience for the movie. The movie sucked. Like, I reviewed some part of it. I reviewed the trailer, and it was god-awful. I mean, just poorly made, mechanical acting, and just really bad. Like, Charlie's Angels TV show was no work of art, right? You know, back in the 70s when we watched that show, you know. But Drew Barrymore made a movie of it, and maybe there was a couple. I don't know. Maybe she made two. And I didn't see those, but saw maybe parts of them. And that was bad. But these were worse. I mean, just accept it. You made a crappy movie. It wasn't, you didn't get screwed. You weren't a victim. You weren't stereotyped. You guys made a horrible movie, and it didn't deserve to do well. Lizzo forced dancers to eat bananas from sex workers' bonus holes during Amsterdam trip, bombshell lawsuit says. And it goes on here. She had 3 backup dancers pictured here, and she kept on roping them into doing things. It says, things got out of hand. Lizzo began inviting cast members to take turns touching new performers, catching dildos launched from performers' bonus holes, and eating bananas protruding from the performers' bonus holes. It says, Lizzo allegedly pressured and goaded Davis into touching one of the nude performers' lady bumps, and the plaintiffs claimed that just a month later, Lizzo deceived them once again into attending a nude show, thereby robbing them of a choice not to participate. You know, there was this event that happened at a Houston Rockets basketball game where Lizzo was sitting in the front row, and she got up and she had assless pants, or she was wearing a thong or whatever, and she started twerking. You know, there are kids in the audience, and it was just a promo thing. She wasn't a Houston Rockets fan, and she's very degraded. But I didn't think this level. You know, there's a sickness here, right? Okay, so that was a tough one to get through. I have low energy today. It was one of those ones I just had to get through. Just I'm a little bit groggy, and I would have put more into this. A lot of jokes probably I left on the table here, but this is a shorter version of the video I was going to make. I was going to include Hunter Biden and Trump's indictment, which I'll get into tomorrow. So it's going to be kind of an epic video on my other channel tomorrow, because there's just so many things going on. It's getting more and more intense. Like, I just can't even get through all the various levels of depravity and, just all of it. So anyways, I'm going to end this one here, but I'll pick this up on my other channel tomorrow. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely pointing from the Apocalypse and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.